You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Hungary Olympian alpine skier, Anna Berecz. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brandon. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in professional skiing?
I think I was told that I was really talented in skiing and that um, we should start, uh, focusing on that sport when I was maybe 5 or 6. My dad taught. I have two more sisters. I'm the middle child, and we all ski raced and we all skied our whole lives. So it wasn't really much of a oh, hey, I want to be a professional skier. It was like I ski, and that is what I do. And then the races went well, and it was just a natural way of becoming a professional athlete.
Of course, what was that like making the national team before going to College of Alaska Argonauts?
We have. I mean, I raced a lot before. I was what was I 23 when I came to Alaska. So I started ski racing at 6, and I started my international career at 15. So there were a lot of years that I spent racing in Europe, mostly in Europe. I also got to race in Turkey, China, and let's see, a couple of US races, Canada. But yes, I mean, I had a whole life before collegiate ski racing.
Of course, what was that like? Obviously, having a whole different life of professional skiing and then going to collegiate skiing and competing on the collegiate level.
It's a little bit different. It's this my life before my career, or how should I say? So maybe the non-collegiate skiing was a little bit more intense. I definitely spent way more time. I didn't have to divide my time up between school and skiing. So I spent my well, I did, but it wasn't like here. I wasn't doing. I was going to high school. I was going to middle school and ski race, but the school part was easy, and I really spent a lot more time on snow and yeah, just traveling more in general,
What was it
longer
like?
longer seasons.
What was it like, obviously, getting to represent Alaska Argonauts and competing collegiately?
I really enjoyed my collegiate ski career. All 4 years of it. It was really fun to be part of a team. The team had, it was all of a sudden not just me. It was, people from all over the world united in Alaska, and we all loved skiing, and we were all, the same age. It was guys, girls. It was just a really fun group. Skiing is it's a very individualistic sport. So when you have a higher purpose, like to compete for your team and to score points for your team, it adds another layer of you know meaning to it, and it's also really fun to be supported by people and support your teammates and seeing them succeed.
How was your experience like getting to compete in the NCAA tournament for alpine skiing?
It's At first, I think um, it wasn't it was just another a race in a way. I think that's important to keep the nerves. Like, you don't tell yourself that you're that this is a big event, like high stakes and everything. It's just like you have to focus on what you're doing, and that is skiing, and to ski well. So, but the surroundings was really cool. At first, when I first qualified, it's like, wow, like, there's only a selected few people who get to go to national. So that was really cool to be part of that. And then also being a little bit more distinguished, like you were a national qualifier. I don't know. It was nice.
How is that like, obviously getting to represent Hungary on the national level while also getting to represent Alaska Argonash?
It's I was busy. We so as a college, we have the regular college season starting in January and then ending at regionals in February, and then that will keep me, on the road. And then on the other hand, I also had these big world events. Like I went to world championships and then the Olympic games while I was also in school. So I missed a lot of school. And I had to be really, like, stay really on top of my schoolwork, and I had to talk to my professors, and so I was really busy. I didn't have a lot of time for other things while I was in college because of that. But it was also, why, you know I uh I like staying busy.
What was it like getting to compete in the World Skiing Championship in 2007?
So that was in Ora, and I think in Sweden. And yes, I'm actually looking at my keychain that I still have from that. It was so that I think that I was really nervous there. One of my more, like, all of a sudden there are cameras pointed at you when you're skiing, and people are watching, and then you ski around, and there are fans, well, fans of ski racing, and they ask you for autographs, and also just like being able to compare yourself to the best in the world. All of it, like, that's just it's such a cool feeling. I wish everyone got a chance to race on that level, because it's so eye-opening, really.
What was the training like leading up to the Olympics and making your Olympic debut for the first time in 2010?
It was um we had, a lot of training. We had, like, we um you don't train for the Olympics, you train to get better. And then a little bit, just like leading up to it, there are a couple of events that, okay, so say you normally you would be just doing certain disciplines, but at the Olympics, like, I qualified for everything. So I was doing more downhill and super G, as well as slalom and GS. So and I, just it's a different kind of, it's more difficult, that, like, the level is higher, and the courses are longer. So before we went to the Olympic Games, I think I did a couple of World Cups. I got to do them, as being one of the um, few like national team members. So then I would be prepared for more icy slopes, and longer courses, and harder sets.
What was that feeling like the first time you made the Olympic team in 2010 to go to Vancouver?
I think I was very excited. You get, like, you're selected. There is an event when they name you for the team, and there's journalists there, and the press, and they're interviewing you, and it's a big deal. So um, it's very exciting to be, like, in that in the center of attention a little bit, and to and it's also, a huge honor every time you get to um, wear your country's colors and be out there and race for Hungary or
How,
for any nation that you're representing.
how was that experience like getting to go down the Super G and the G slopes in Vancouver at the Olympics?
So just the Super G or the downhill too?
Downhill too.
Okay. So the speed disciplines, like the speed races in Vancouver, were very tough. I that was I think I had to keep myself from like you know having a nervous breakdown. I'm not a very nervous athlete, or at least you can't see it, or I wasn't. I think I always looked like I had my cool, but inside I was like I couldn't. I remember I could barely eat in the morning of the downhill because I was just so nervous. At that point, so we have the before a downhill. There's always official trainings, so I had a really good idea about what I was, what I had expecting. But it was a very fast course and super bumpy in sections, and then huge jumps, and and I was just I was very nervous, and you're just standing there like, okay, this is it, like um, you're about to have this course just for yourself. That's a really cool feeling to be, like um, you know, be standing there and like having your time on this course, and it's super challenging, but you just like, okay, this is me, this is my time, I'm gonna do this now. So it's very exciting.
What was that first moment like when you put on the Hungary uniform to represent Hungary? And what was that moment like the first time you put on the Olympic uniform representing Hungary?
That was, well, the first moment I don't remember. I remember, walking, of course, the opening ceremony and walking behind the flag. I wasn't the flag bearer, but I was, it's a small delegation, so it's like you're walking in the middle of this huge stadium, and every I got a lot of messages from my friends like, oh, I saw you on TV. So it's always cool. You're like waving at people, and you know that people are seeing you. And well, I was on the national team a couple, like since I was 15. So I got to wear the uniform a bunch of times, and it was always a very special feeling.
How did obviously going to Vancouver in the 2010 Olympics help you to make the Olympics 4 years later in Sochi in 14?
I I just it's not it didn't help. It just was something like I wanted to qualify for the Olympics, and I wanted to make the criteria on my own. That was really important for me. Having the experience in Vancouver really helped me managing my, just like the not just the nerves, but just like having an idea what a world event, what the Olympic Games looks like, is always helpful in like what you should be expecting at the next big event. So I was fortunate enough to have a lot of those experiences also from World Championships, and I guess apart from being that it being exciting, I think that was it. Like it was you just treat it as another race. You focus and you try to do your best, and then you'll just be happy with the result.
What was your experience like getting to ski down the slopes of Sochi?
That was also pretty. I remember how steep it was the first couple of gates, and then you pick up a lot of speed. And that was a really fun course. And I, you know, I was just trying to go as fast as I could, and in the end, I think it went okay. So, um, but yeah, I also remember the mountains. I just have these like couple of memories from like the course and how it was, or what I did during the run. But I definitely remember from Sochi. I remember how beautiful the mountains were around it, and it was a very scenic um, venue.
What were some of your favorite memories from both Olympic experiences?
The opening ceremonies were always really fun. Uh, um, then I mean that show, Vancouver and Sochi, they that was amazing. The I loved the cafeteria and the food. It's really cool to just push a couple buttons on a vending machine, and then you get free drinks, and you can, I know, enjoy the food there. I think it's also a really cool experience to just be in a cafeteria with all these like Olympic champions, and just hang out there. I really like that. But I also, the races, I think in Vancouver, my most memorable thing was when I got to run, like I was the first racer out of the gate in the second run of the combined, and the bleachers at the bottom were full, and people were cheering, and I think that was one of my happiest moments.
Of course, were there anybody that you looked up to that once you made it to the Olympics, you saw them and you were like, oh my God, I grew up watching you on TV?
I didn't have any of those moments, but it's an honor to be racing and wearing well, the same start bib, not the same start bib, but like just part of being part of a race where Lindsey Vaughn is racing. We're all they were they were standing in the start area when I was standing in the start area, and just like seeing them prepare, and but everyone is focused really on their race, so it's not, I I wasn't trying to disturb them, and I think that's what I would expect to, like, just we're here to compete, and I think it's important to you know be professional in that way.
As a hungry athlete, what was it like getting to race against Team Canada and Team USA?
Mm, there was nothing really special about racing against those countries. I think I remember they always had the best looking gear. I always wanted to trade with them. I think I have a Canadian jacket. I have a US ski team jacket too, but not from the Olympics. Um, and but I have I know people from those teams, and I know people from other countries too. So I don't have any specific memories from those racing against those two countries.
How did it feel to have Olympian behind your last name and to have two-time Olympian?
Uh, it's funny. It's I feel like people I mean I'm not famous by all means, but when people find out um, that I'm an Olympian, or that I competed, they're like, wow, really? And then it's fun to talk about it, and a lot of times they haven't met anyone who was competing at the Olympics. So I get a lot of questions, and I'm really happy to be answering that, because um, that's what this is about. It's we do these events. We organize, or not I, but they organize these big events to engage people and to get excited about sports. So I'm always happy to be an ambassador of that.
What is that like, obviously getting to meet your fans all around the world and getting to recognize you and ask for your autographs?
I only had a couple of those experiences, and it's always special when someone says your name. Um, I'm I'm not world famous, so I'm not. I was always just like laughing about it, and then I have a conversation with them. It didn't happen to me very often, and I don't have paparazzis or like people following me around with cameras, but it's you know it feels like you've made it. Like, oh, I am, you know, I matter. So
Of course, what was that moment like as you just talked about when you were like, Mama, I made it. I'm a now two-time Olympian and Olympian.
um, I think that it's um, it's nice to reach those goals, and I think I'm sometimes I think, oh well, I could have maybe do better or whatever, but it's a big deal. And I was always, my dad always wanted us to become Olympians, and I was really happy that we um, that I reached that goal, and that my parents are really proud. They are proud of us, of all of our my siblings too, because I think because we were we put a lot of work into what we did in skiing, and outside of skiing too. Um, so it's of course it's always nice when your parents are proud of you, and they you hear them talking like, oh yeah, they went to the Olympics. I'm like, yes.
Of course, after your second Olympics, what was the transition like from being a professional athlete to retiring and getting into where you are now as a college coach?
Well, you train less. There are things that you miss about skiing, or ski racing. I miss Sometimes I miss being coached. When you are a coach, you don't get, you have to look for yourself, like how to improve yourself. And I also I know how strong I was and how fit I was, and I mean I tried to maintain some level of that. I think it didn't all disappear, but I don't. Um, I miss certain things about it, and then other things I don't miss at all. Like as a coach, I don't have to tune my skis all the time. The countless hours that we spend just perfecting the edges so that your skis are fast, I don't miss that at all. And I also don't miss training with that intensity all the time. It's I get to, like, now I think um when I ski, I really really just like enjoy skiing and like making nice turns, but there's no pressure to be faster.
Of course, after Sochi, did you know at that moment at the Olympics in Sochi that you would retire at the biggest stage?
After Sochi, I skied one more year. I retired in 2015 after the Beaver Creek World Championships, and but I didn't announce it after Sochi that that was going to be my last Olympic Games, but I knew, just because I was going to graduate, and I didn't see the you know I didn't feel it in me anymore to like continue the ski racing at this intensity. So I didn't have a big like moment of like, okay, now I'm going to retire, but it was just like the natural step. It was some like it feels nice to be able to say that all of this that I accomplished, and then now I'm moving forward, and I'm going to improve and develop in different ways.
What advice would you give those collegiate athletes that are looking to compete on the college level of alpine skiing?
It's I always thought that skiing was um I'm just very grateful to have being able to do it for as long as I did and get so much out of it. If someone is an Olympian and wants to ski in a college, it's um it's also very rewarding. Like maybe, we think, the Olympic champion is the best skier in the world in that day or in that moment and that year. And the national champion in college is, they're the best skier in that circuit. So there's you can have those kind of ambitions and goals and feel um, like you accomplished a lot through collegiate skiing, not just through Olympic games. So, but it's a different kind of environment, and I would definitely recommend everyone who gets a chance, to ski in college too, because it's just different. I think it's different kind of fun.
What advice would you give those future Olympians that are looking to compete for the first time as an Olympian to represent their country?
There, maybe my advice would be to try to compartmentalize. It's Yes, it's a big event, and yes, a lot of people are watching, but it's only um, you have to stay calm too. Try to focus on your race. Just try to get um, just do your best. And it really doesn't matter what the if it's an Olympic games or world championships or whatever it is that you're the event that you're doing, because you're gonna ski well if you're doing what you're doing, like skiing. It doesn't matter if it's the Olympic games. You just have to do exactly the same things and same rituals and everything that you've been doing, and you got there, so you're probably succeeding at some point. So just keep your calm. It's gonna be okay.
What advice would you give those Olympians that are looking to go through the process of retiring and life outside of the sport that they love?
um I think that it's 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 difficult for some people to imagine a life outside of their sport. Uh, but there is a life outside. I mean, I think that um, so what I like, for instance, about college skiing is that it gives you um, another qualification or something, like you're hopefully you're interested in what you're studying, or you find out that you're also talented in other things. It's not just your sport. So most people can't ski race or do their sports until they're in their 80s. So it's just a realistic way, thing to think about, that what else can I do. And there's so many things that people can do, and I think sport really prepares people for the life afterwards. And just there is a lot of skills that transfers over to into other fields. So just try to find those things um, and improve and do, like, learn while you're doing your sport, so you're not just left with only that one thing if you have to if you decide to retire.
What advice would you give those Olympians that are looking to get into college coaching like you did?
Well, so college coaching, first of all, you have to have a degree. So if you're an Olympian and you don't have a degree yet and you want to coach on the collegiate level, I would suggest to finish your college and get a degree and know that you have a lot to give to the athletes who are in college and racing, and I think they really appreciate the advice and the experience that an Olympian can bring to coaching. So I would be very encouraging and yeah, you should do it.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I have on Instagram. It's called Animal. It's a double A, so my name with two A's. And I'm also on Facebook and Anna Berecz. That's my name. And yeah, I don't have a Twitter account, but sometimes I post something on Facebook.
Thank you again, Annabelle, for your interview and best of luck in your future as you begin this journey after being an Olympian.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.